Hi everyone, welcome to the channel and we'll be discussing today one of the important question which is generally asked during your DevOps interview, and that question is talk about the project, correct? How your pipeline is set up, how your end-to-end application deployment happens, or how your CI/CD flow is there in your current project. Correct? So this question can be asked in a different way, explain about your complete project, how the your local code is developed in your local system, like developers develop the code and how it is deployed over the EKS system. The complete workflow of your CI/CD, correct? So we are going to talk about this particular question, and it's most commonly asked question as well. And then also we will be talking about the roles and responsibility, like what kind of day-to-day task or activity a DevOps person do in his daily basis lifestyle. So let's start with the first question. Let's us go through the let us walk through the CI/CD pipeline. So Rinki, yeah, we can have the answer for that.
Okay. So let us understand how a normal CI/CD setup looks from end to end in a real world project. Okay. So developers push code to, let us say, develop branch in case they want it to be deployed to staging servers. Okay. So our entire CI/CD setup will be broken down into two parts. First for staging, and the second is for production environment. And we would be using for CI/CD Jenkins, and we are using GitHub repository to store our code. And we are dockerizing our application, so we would be having Docker file already present in our code repository, in our GitHub code. And apart from it, we are using Hem to deploy this application to our EKS cluster on AWS. Okay, so this is the short summary of all the tools that we would be using in our staging and production setup. So let us say, how does the flow happens? So first, the developers will push the code or raise the PR against the develop branch. Let us say they have pushed the code in the develop branch. So what will happen? We would have some webhook configured there. So what it will do, webhook will listen continuously. Okay, so something has been merged, or something has been some pull request has been made against this develop branch. So it will trigger a Jenkins pipeline. So this will be Jenkins CI/CD pipeline for staging. Okay, it was configured from develop branch in GitHub repository. So whenever some developer will push some code in this develop branch, so the CI/CD pipeline for staging will get triggered. Okay, so what is there in the CI/CD Jenkins pipeline for staging environment? So it will build the code, it will have some test cases, and then it will build the image out of this code. That is, we will be using some commands like docker build -t then tag, and then we will be pushing this docker image which is built on some repository, on some registry, like it could be Docker Hub or it could be our AWS ECR. For this example, let us consider we are pushing our image to AWS ECR. So now in this CI setup, this is CI till this point, that the code is built, tested, and the image is created. Image is pushed to the AWS ECR. So this part is CI, that is continuous integration. So after this, what will happen? Hem will pick up the latest image tag, and it will deploy it to our EKS cluster on AWS, and it will deploy it in the particular namespace. That is, the namespace could be different for staging and for production. Let us say for staging, our namespace is stage, so it will deploy in the stage namespace. Now, so our application code has been deployed to staging environment. So what will happen? QA team, or what we can say, some testing team, will test if the code is working fine on staging servers. So once we get the approval from them, then what will happen? Developers will raise the PR for the same code to be merged to the main branch so that it can be deployed to the production environment. So someone has to raise this PR to merge code from develop to main branch. Now someone will approve this request manually. Once this is approved, so now we will be having another pipeline which will be deploying the same image to the production environment. So how it will be deployed to the production environment? It can be considered like we are connecting to the same EKS cluster by HEM, but we will be deploying it in a different namespace. The namespace name would be prod or production. So this way, in this Jenkins pipeline, which is for deployment to the production, that is CD production pipeline. So it will deploy the code because CI is already done. The same image will be used again in the production. The image is already tested by being deployed on the staging servers. So now what will happen? It will, in this final CD step of our Jenkins pipeline, what will happen? It will just pull that image, and through HEM it will through HEM upgrade command, it will just deploy this particular latest image to our production namespace in the same cluster, same EKS cluster. So this is how the entire setup looks like. So we were having in GitHub two branches, the develop and main. The develop branch, when someone pushes the code to the develop branch, that is responsible for being deployed to the staging. A pipeline get triggers whenever somebody pushes code to develop branch. Pipeline get triggers, and this pipeline will build the code, test the code, and will create an image out of it and pushes that image to the AWS ECR. From there, this image is picked up, this image is pulled, and it is deployed to the production cluster. Clusters can be different, or we can use the same cluster and use different namespace inside the cluster for production and staging environments. So let us say this code has been deployed to production namespace in the EKS cluster on AWS. Now for production, once this staging application is tested, we will just raise a PR. We will merge the code from this develop branch to the main branch. When this code is merged, someone approves this merge, this code is merged, then we will trigger a Jenkins pipeline for deploying to the production cluster or deploying to the production namespace in the same cluster. So this will just be the deployment phase for production, because CI is already taken care of in the staging setup. So this is how the entire CI/CD setup will look like for a Dockerized application, which is using HEM on top of it and using Jenkins as a CI/CD tool. And we are using GitHub repository to store our code. So how our GitHub repository will look like? It will be having HEM charts, the templates, deployment.yaml, service.yaml, or ingress.yaml, everything, and values, values.prod.yaml, and apart from it, we will be having Jenkins file there. We will be having a Docker file which will build that code and will push that image to the AWS ECR. So this is how you can frame your answer. You can customize it according to your work experience or according to your tools and technologies. So if Manish, you want to add up something, you can, else we can proceed to next question.
So yeah, that's what we can expect the answer during the interview. Like if I used to ask the same question during the interview, and I'm expecting the same kind of answer during the interview from any of the candidate who is experienced up to like 2 years to 7 years. Correct? So these are kind of deployment process, how your Jenkins pipeline is set up, how your image will be created, how application will be deployed over the EKS cluster on different cluster or within the same cluster. And when we are talking about connecting the cluster, we maintain the credentials within the Jenkins pipeline itself. Within this manage Jenkins section, you put all the kubeconfig related file, like what are all the cluster details, what is the API endpoint for the cluster, what are the different namespace where you will be connecting, correct? So your Jenkins pipeline will fetch the detail of the cluster from this kubeconfig file, and it will connect that cluster, and it will deploy on that particular namespace according to your branch, whether you are deploying it for the production or you're deploying it for the another namespace, correct? In addition to this, if you are onboarding your customer for the first time, so you will require the infrastructure as well. This particular deployment will happen if your infrastructure is already there. If it's the first time deployment, so you have to create the infrastructure as well. So there will be a different CI/CD pipeline where your infrastructure related Terraform code will be pulled up, and that will be deployed into that AWS account to create the complete infrastructure. Once infrastructure is built up, then you will be deploying this particular code related like application upgrade or the application deployment, what we talked right now. Okay, let's move ahead towards the second question. What is the day-to-day activity a DevOps person used to work on?
Or this question can be asked to you in your interviews, like how does your day-to-day activities look like as a DevOps engineer? What tasks do you actually get like in your last 1 year? Can you explain? So these kind of questions where you have to describe your daily activities, how you actually get the tasks, or what is the channel through which you are getting, what kind of tasks you are performing. So let me frame a sample answer for you. So let us say, how shall I frame it? Let us say I start my day by checking the Jiras assigned to me. So if any tickets are assigned under my name, I'll check. Usually we get requests for new deployments to our existing environments, and for different customers, it may be on staging or production. Then we get a request for user creation, user deletion, for particular customers for our particular environments. Also, apart from it, we get some Jenkins enhancements request, like to existing pipeline. If something is not working properly or we need to add some particular stages, we get that as well. And apart, sometimes we get requests like from the support team, because the DevOps team is not directly looking into every issue. So there is a separate support team who is monitoring alerts and everything. So if they get any alerts and if they are able to resolve it, that is okay. And if they are not able to resolve it, then they approach us. So that is like, sometimes we are getting 504 error, Nginx error, 502 error, or sometimes 404 server is not reachable. So these kind of tasks are also performed by us on daily basis. Like these kind of troubleshooting activities, these are part, every day we get one or two requests like this. And some other tasks that I can think of are to add some more infrastructure or resources to existing infrastructure by Terraform. Let us say the already existing infrastructure is there on Terraform and we need to add certain like EC2 machines, or let us say you can just explain that last week you got a request to add a module for RabbitMQ. So you just created a new module and added it. So this kind of requests are common in our day-to-day task. So Manish, if you want to add some more pointers, so it would be
I think,
beneficial.
I think we have covered most of the point on the day-to-day activities as well. Like we start checking the Jira when we log in into our system.
Yeah, there are a lot more.
We check for the mails, what kind of mails we have received. Either it's kind of any escalation or it's kind of any normal activities. What we have to do. Then we we have to go through the POCs. If there are any POCs which are assigned to us, we work on the POC related stuff as well. When I'm talking about the POC, it's a kind of new implementation what we have to test whether that new implementation is working or not. Or if you are working on a new tool adoption, like you can think of that we are working on this Dynatrace before, correct? Right now we are monitoring our services, monitoring our logs through the Dynatrace, and tomorrow it has been decided, or today it has been decided that we will be migrating from Dynatrace to Grafana. So we have to do the POC. That kind of POC happens on your staging environment or test environment, and after that it goes on the production. So you are working on that POC kind of stuff as well. Then you are working on Jenkins pipeline enhancement, like you are pushing your code changes to AWS ECR. Now you are like you have been asked to push your code changes to the images to your Docker Hub registry, correct? So there might be scenario where you are going to create your primary infrastructure, secondary infrastructure. So you have to always maintain and enhance your infrastructure, enhance your pipeline, enhance your manifest.yml file. So all kind of enhancement, building pipelines, building new clusters, onboarding new customers. So all these kind of activities we used to receive on the daily basis. Correct?
Also, one more thing that I remember is like sometimes we also receive requests from the management that if we can do something for cost cutting. So for staging environments, what we can do, we usually put auto start stop by using Lambda, so that those particular servers will start in the morning at say 8 a.m. and will shut down by 8 p.m. in the night. So this will save cost a little. So while doing this, we have to make sure that whenever the server reboots, the services, the applications which are running on that server will uh, will be up after the reboot as well. They should not go down. So like if something is running as a service which is there inside the systemd file, so it should be enabled. Docker is running, Docker is enabled, or these kind of things that we have to make sure that the service also comes up after the server reboots. So for this we have to make certain configuration changes. So these kind of requests, so this is also one of our tasks. So you can add on many tasks. There are infinite list, the list goes on. So there would be every day you will find a new task, so you can just pick up 5 to 6 tasks and frame your answer according to your choice.
Yeah, in addition to this, we also used to get this application upgrade. Like you have to upgrade the application of existing customer. You are on this 10.0 version, and then you have to move to 11.0 version or major version upgrade. You are moving from 10.0 to 15.0 because there are multiple feature which has been released between these changes, correct? 10.0 to 15.0. So this kind of application upgrade, infrastructure upgrade, working on the troubleshooting on the daily basis, like your application was running, it has now slow performance or it's not working. Some of the images which are not reflecting on your portal. So there are day-to-day basis problems as well which occurs, and we have to get into the calls. We have to fix those issues. So yeah, you can frame your answers in that way. I think Rinki, you can add on something, and then we will wrap up the session.
Also, sometimes we need to coordinate with development team as well, depending on some issues that we receive. It might be some development issue, so we just need to coordinate with them that they might need certain access, or at some instance they need our help. So that support activity also to develop development team. And apart from it, like checking some alerts as well in certain organizations, checking the alerts related to like CPU, RAM, storage, these are also part of the DevOps team as well. So you can just take login to the servers, like if an alert has come, then you have to check which particular service is taking more than usual, more resources than the usual resources. Like let us say some service is taking 70 to 80% CPU of the entire server. So if it is continuous, so you will need to report to that particular developer or development team that this particular application is using, is that usage is normal, or if you need extra resources, we can provision extra resources for that particular application or server. We can so these kind of daily tasks come as almost every day. So it depends on what kind of organization you are working on and what is the scope of work. Sometimes it involves L1 tasks, sometimes it involves every like the automation, the writing Terraform scripts. Automation is always going on, so you need to write scripts for like user creation, or giving access to people over DB, or creating tunnels, or what kind of other requests. So these are generally the requests that we receive as of now. So I guess we are good to wrap up the session. And for more similar questions, just join the bootcamp. We will be discussing more questions, and we are excited that we have covered almost 3 batches till now, and 4th batch is starting soon. So we would be preparing you technically on what type of questions, what type of scenario based questions can be asked, and how you can answer those questions. So do get in touch with us if you want more details about the DevOps Bootcamp. So in 5 days session, you will be getting a lot to learn. If you have hands-on knowledge and you are not able to crack the interviews, you're not sure, you are not having that confidence, then you must join this bootcamp. We assure you that you will be finding at least like you will correlate that, oh, these kind of questions are asked from me in my previous interview, so I was not able to answer. So you will get your answers here. So do join bootcamp, do subscribe to our channel, and keep learning. I hope you all get your dream packages in your career. Okay, guys, we will meet in next video.